Evening, everyone. This is the long-awaited, I guess except for me, video about the story. Model railroad structure will be completely removed. Some of you have probably guessed by now, but yes, I am moving again. And for this video is not going to be about railroading. It's going to be basically a background explanation of how I got to where I am and where I'm going and why. So if you're not interested in hearing the background explanation, you can stop right here and wait for the next video. Alright, so those of you who've been following my channel for a while remember that I had 3 different series. The first was Model Railroading on a Budget, where I built that garage layout rather, that was on a table that had, had casters on it, and was able to be moved, from place to place in the garage. I had limited space then, and I needed something I could pull out to work with and run, and then push back to be out of the way. We moved from that house into what at the time we thought was our sort of forever home. I expected to be taken out of that house feet first. So at that point, I started the second series, which was my HO scale railroad. That involved actually tearing down the layout, the garage layout on casters, cannibalizing it for parts, and then building a layout room inside of my existing bonus room that was going to be solely for the layout. And again, I didn't expect to leave that place, so I built that layout. The room was explicitly for the layout. It was assembled in there, attached to those studs, very sturdy. Never planned on having to move from there, but as we know, nothing so constant as change, right? So 5 years after we moved in, we had at that time 4 grandchildren. When we moved into the house, we had 2. The grandchildren come over quite often to visit, usually at least once a month, sometimes more often, and they end up spending the night. So since I had cannibalized half of the bonus room for the layout, it left very little room for them in that house, especially when they were there. So, and as you know, 4 boys, they like to play, so it was a little crowded. So we decided to go ahead and look for a larger place. Coinciding with that, my mother-in-law, who is 90 years old, was at a point in her life that we felt that she should probably be with us, so that we could kind of keep an eye on her, make sure that nothing happened to her. So we were looking for basically a house that had 2 separate living areas, one for her and one for my wife and me. We found a house that we thought was going to work great. It had a huge yard for the kids, it had a partial basement, 4-car garage, perfect place. Ended up having a home inspection done on it. We found there were some findings in the home inspection that led us to back out of that deal. They were going to be too expensive to fix. And by that point, my mother-in-law's house had sold and our house had sold. So we were kind of in a bind. We had to find something quickly that was still going to accommodate 2 families. So we purchased the house that we're in now. And then I started construction on the Landsburg and Great Western garage layout. The reason I'm in the garage is because there's no place in the house for me to build the layout. As I said, we still have the 4 grandsons. We have since had a granddaughter, so now there are 5 children. And even this home, which is about 50% larger than our previous home, is getting crowded. And we still have no yard. The community we're in is what's known as a 0 lot line, where basically we have the distance between our house and our neighbor's house. And on the side of my house over here, that's probably 20 feet. So as you might imagine, it gets a little crowded when you've got 5 little ones out there running around. We've never kind of given up on the aspiration of having a yard big enough for the kids. We're going to be having kids around for at least 10 or 12 years, so plenty of time for them to play. So my wife's hobby is kind of keeping her ear attuned to the housing market, and she happened upon a house that has a full basement. It has 2 separate living areas. and it has a big yard. So we're moving again, hence the reason for removing the layout. So you know, the Landsburg and Great Western is pretty big. It's 10 by 21 in size, but you know, fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. So I built this one to come apart. So over the next month or so, we're going to see whether that holds true. You know, whether I did a good enough job of building this thing to come apart. So probably in the next week or so, I'll begin to deconstruct this. The house purchase is not finalized yet. So as many of you probably know, in real estate, it ain't over till it's over. So I'm going to wait until it's over before I start taking this sucker apart here. I was just to the point, luckily, where I was going to begin to put scenery on, paint the track and so forth. And I'm glad that, you know, this deal kind of occurred when it did, because I would have been, you know, it would have been a little bit more difficult to move, let's put it that way. So, you know, what is left to happen on the housing front? We've had inspections done both on the new home and on our buyers have had one here. Our offers have been accepted both ways. The only contingency left right now is on appraisal. So our house has been appraised by our buyers. We have had the house that we're purchasing appraised. We're waiting for the results, but assuming the appraisals come in at the purchase price or greater, we'll be good to go. And I won't know that until next week. So that's the last hurdle in the sale that has to be crossed. But anyway, that's pretty much where I am, you know, to this point. As far as the location for the layout in the other house, it has a 3-car garage, but 2 of the bays are upstairs, I'll call it. You come in off the street into a driveway, make a left-hand turn, and go into the 2 garage bays. As I said, or maybe I didn't say, this house has a full basement. So if you continue down around the right side of the house, the driveway goes down a hill and around the back, and there's a garage entry in the back of the house in the basement. The bay is 13 feet wide and 35 feet long. So am I increasing the size of the layout? A little bit, but I need that 15 feet of space that I'm gaining over this bay to store things like lawn equipment. Since I'm going to have a bigger yard now, I got to have a mower, so I've got to buy that. All of the stuff that's in my garage now, all of my tools, table saw, storage cabinets and everything are all going to fit in that 13 by 15 foot bay at the end of the layout. So the only thing that I want to do, and I just discovered this as I was packing up the layout here, I've got too much rolling stock and too dang many locomotives, and you know, you probably don't hear folks say that too often. Sorry about that. Had a little bit of an equipment malfunction. But as I was saying, the extra 3 feet of width that I'm gaining, I'm going to hope to add a staging yard to this side of the layout. The garage door will be there, and the wall to the back of the garage is going to be up here. So the only thing that I don't know is how long it's going to be. There's a door somewhere in this area from the garage into the basement, and I think that door opens into the house, so I may be good to go and be able to use the full 3 feet. But anyway, that's one of the things that I've got to check, but I'm going to gain some space for staging. Oh, the other thing I wanted to tell you, South Brooklyn Railroad, Big Bill Graham, has t-shirts. South Brooklyn Railroad, aka Catastrophe Railroad, Staten Island, New York. I bought one of these shirts from Bill. If you'd like one, send me a message. I can give you Bill's contact info, and he can tell you where to send the funds to, so you can acquire one of these fine t-shirts for yourself. I thought it was kind of cool. You know, it's authentic looking, it's authentic sounding, the South Brooklyn and Staten Island, you know, doesn't get any better than that. But anyway, kind of what am I going to be doing between now and the next layout video? You know, the next one I probably post is going to be the disassembly. We'll see how that goes, whether I've planned ahead well enough. Once the layout is down, we're not moving until the 24th of July. That's our closing date, so we've got like a 3-day window to be out of here. So the layout will be transported to the new house, which is only, I don't know, 2-3 miles from here, not far. I'll stick it in the garage bay. I'm not going to do any assembly on it because there are projects to do at the new house, which I'll be involved in for a while. I've got to build out some of the basement for the grandkids, so they've got a place to play and to sleep when they're there. There's some work I have to do in the kitchen. So I may do some videos on that. You know, those of you that are interested in home improvements, I may have to start another channel and put my home improvement stuff on that to keep it separate from the layout work. I've got a couple of projects that are kind of in progress, one of which, if you've been keeping up with the sequence numbers on the video series, number 27 never got posted. The reason is it's not done yet. I have an F-45 locomotive, Susquehanna, that is an Athearn Blue Box that I'm actually converting to a Montana Rail Link F-45. So that's in progress. It's probably 80% finished, and I've still got the last 20% of that to do. So I'll get a recording up on that maybe here shortly. But again, you know, it's going to be iffy depending upon you know, all of the stuff that has to be done with a move. I mean, I'm sure those of you who have moved, haven't we all? You know the work that's involved. Other than that, you know, I've got a few buildings that I might be able to kind of fit in here and there before we get back to layout construction. I do want to apologize to some of the new subscribers that have just recently subscribed to my channel. Progress is going to be slow, and I hope you'll stay around for the rest of it and won't leave you know, during this I guess delay in finishing the layout here. So anyway, I suppose that's it for now. I don't want to drone on. Again, you know, this not being a layout video, more of a what's about me video. So again, thanks for watching. Thanks for hanging with me all the years, and appreciate all the comments and subscriptions. The comments mean a lot. I mean, I take a lot of that stuff that you guys say to heart, and I think about it a lot. You know, sometimes I adopt some of the things you say. Sometimes I really think hard about what you say, and some of the things I do are affected by that. I may not do what you want 100%, but you know, hey, it's my layout, right? I do what I want. So again, thanks. Take care. We'll see you on the next video.